Hey guys, let me just try and figure out how to make sure I can add Erica in real quick. Hope everyone's having fun tonight as we tie a woolly bugger. I even cleaned my basement for this, so everyone should be happy for that. Thank you. I like this hat too. It's pretty comfy. I have no idea. I think it's Fishpond. Let me see if I could add Erica in here. She might still be using the bathroom. Let's see. Where are you? Why won't it let me do that? We'll find out here. All right, so as I'm waiting for that, there we go. Yay, we figured it out. So Erica will be joining us. She's going to be tying, hello.
Hello.
So we are going to be tying a woolly bugger, and it's Erica's first time, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, ever tying fly.
Yeah, ever.
Okay, so my name is Brita Fordice. I am one of two people that designs all the signature flies for RIO flies. And I've been tying for a really long time. I live in Seattle. I'm quarantined with my family, and this is a little bit of a nice break right now, at least. Erica, what about you?
Oh, this is my very first time, and
Yeah.
been fly fishing summer of 2016. So when I lived in Wyoming and moved to Colorado, and so I'm currently in Crested Butte. So here in quarantine by myself, which is pretty fun. Not gonna lie, I'm really enjoying this a lot.
Yeah.
And I recently broke my leg, so this is a good time to start learning a new skill. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
All right, so let's go over the materials
Okay.
and the equipment. Okay.
Got it.
So first off, we've got a vise. I've got this HMH vise. You have a clamp vise, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So different kinds of vices. Obviously, there's a pedestal one, like something like this. These are great. They're not as perfect to travel with, even though they do break down. They just end up, they're heavy because of the base. Whereas the clamp vise, which is what you have, you can clamp onto a table, and it makes it, as long as you have a table that is like workable for a clamp, it works great. So in addition to that, we have our bobbins, different kinds. Some of them are going to require what's called a bobbin threader, which is this little weird wire thing. And that's what's going to actually get the thread through. These ones are really fun because you get to spread coronavirus by sucking on them to get the thread to come through. So you want to try, we always wondered at the fly shop why everyone was getting sick. It's probably because everyone was using the same bobbin for tying all the time.
Is that this thing?
Yes, that's the bobbin. And so what you're going to want to do first with it is you're going to want to take it and kind of open it up so it's not like super tight. I would love to tie a squid, but we're going to tie a woolly bugger. I just saw that little message on there. There will be squid at some point, but this is a woolly bugger today. So the other thing we're going to need is some good scissors. In a perfect world, you're going to have a separate pair for wire and a separate pair for like everything else. Or you could get some cheap like $5 wire cutters. I dull all of mine and I never know which is which, so I end up blowing through scissors really fast. So in addition to that, you're going to want a hook. This one is going to be, this guy is like a size 8 long streamer hook. You've got it perfect. Okay, good job. And then aside from that, the vein of my existence in tying classes, the greatest tool that has literally brought grown men to tears, which is the whip finisher. We are going to try this. I can't guarantee how successful we'll be with it because this is, I can't help you. I can only help you so much, but we're going to try, okay? as long as you have a good attitude and possibly some pain medicine from your foot thing, then we'll be just great. You'll be fine. Oh, even better. All right. So you ready? Should we do this?
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing you're going to want to do is put the hook in the vise. Okay. So have you done that before at all or practiced at all?
No, I can't even get this thing to open.
Okay. So generally speaking, that little knob at the tip of it is the fine tune. Okay. And the big knob that's facing the camera is the one that's going to tighten it down or not. Okay, so try and put it in there and see if you could use the big knob to actually get it to stay nice and tight. And I would probably tighten the knob. Yes, tighten that knob. This is what it's like, folks, when you start fly tying. So it should, did you notice if you use that little tiny knob that it actually makes it slightly open up a little bit and close up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
The knob on the outside, though, is the one that's going to really hold it in. Okay. So you're going to want to put it in with the point down. So have it point down. There you go. Good job. And put it in the jaws. Okay.
Oh.
And then you got it. Yeah. And then use what should be that big knob facing the camera to tighten. That should be the one to tighten it.
Oh, I just totally
This is what happens when you're facing the camera, though, because you're watching it and it's probably the wrong direction. The best thing to do, too, when you're tying and you're learning how to tie is don't ever throw a fly away. That's another funny thing, because you're going to look back at those even when you think that your flies suck still. And you're going to, we're having some knob problems. You're gonna look at those flies even when you think your flies suck, and you're gonna be like, oh, okay, well actually I have improved. So it's always good to keep a good, like, all of your flies no matter what.
Oh, it's just getting bigger.
Okay, no, that's progress. That's exactly what we want. Don't touch it. Don't. Okay, so now take it in the little tiny knob and turn that, and you should find that the little tiny knob, if you turn that, it gets it slightly smaller. Is it getting smaller?
Yeah.
Okay, now once it's just barely big enough to put it in there, then you tighten the big knob again. The right direction. Good job.
Sounds like my prom night.
Okay. I'm not even gonna say anything about that. So, all right. So we got it. Is it good in there? Is it like actually okay? And then is the vise, is the head of it tight? So like it takes a lot to really push it down. Kind of. Just twist with all the muscle you got. There you go. Okay. Done. That's good. Got it. Okay. Perfect. So now what you're going to do is thread your bobbin. Okay. Okay. So you're going to take your thread, put it in the bobbin like so. Okay. Then you could, I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for saying this or not. Like I'm going to say, then you could think back to prom night, put it in the hole, and then suck as hard as you can.
Okay. That I think I can manage. Okay.
So here, put that in there. And then, perfect.
Oh, okay.
See?
You did that so well.
I'm really good at it.
You've had a lot of practice, I see. Okay. Yeah.
I am, what I'm going to do, and I just saw a comment because I actually read it, is that I'm going to actually put a bead on mine first to show folks that you can do a bead as well.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So You could put a bead head on just like that. And you may have to pinch the barb down before you do it, but it'll still work fine. So I'm gonna have a bead on there first. So as long as you get it close to the hole, you should be able to suck it through still.
Oh, sucking. Okay, I was
just
thinking,
suck it.
Okay, got it. Okay.
You don't have to do it in front of the camera if it makes you feel better.
Okay.
Did it work?
I suck at sucking. Hold on. Okay. I will get this.
So you just have to get the thread like close enough to the hole on the top.
Okay.
You got a good job. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. So now that you've done that, I'm very proud of you. You're going to want to take it and pull out just like, okay, I'm really bad at guesstimating length and distance. So I'm going to assume this is like 3 to 4 inches. I have no idea.
Okay.
So hold it with your left hand. I'm using Ultra Thread 70 denier, which will probably break. You're using Danville's, it looks like. Yep, Danville's probably 140 or 70. I'm really bad. 210. 210 denier. 6/0 uni would work fine too.
Okay.
You're going to hold it like this, and you're going to take your left hand and put it close to the base. Okay.
Okay.
And you're going to take your right hand and start wrapping away from you. There you go.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Oh, wait.
Okay, so you're going to wrap, and I want you, as you're getting used to doing this, I want you to wrap all the way up and down the shank. And hold it like this, if you can. Just hold it so that you're not holding onto the thread. Got it?
Yeah.
And that way it makes it so that if you need to pull out thread, you can.
Okay. Always have a pull-out method backup.
I have 2 children. I don't know that.
Am I covering the entire
Yes.
Okay.
Hold the whole thing.
Okay. Does it matter if it's like pretty or not, or?
You want it tight.
Okay.
But it doesn't need to be like insanely, you just want to cover the whole shank.
Okay.
I get really lazy and I don't cover it. I just like make it so it's not perfect. Okay. And it's totally fine. But this is also good practice for getting, I don't know, just good at it.
This is really bad.
Let me see, I can't see.
Okay.
It's okay. You know what? Tighten the bottom out of your bobbin to the table better.
Oh.
And you can also tighten up the thread more. So you have, there you go.
Okay. It's a lot of pressure. Okay.
It's a lot of pressure, but tighten your vise down to the table better because it's going to drive you crazy.
Okay.
Is it better? You could sit on it for all that matters at this point. Hold on. I don't know. Yes, whoever that is, it's already blocked the name, but you are supposed to thread it first, and then we're just wrapping the shank with thread. That's all.
Okay.
I don't know if that answers the question. Good job.
Okay.
See, now you got it down.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
See, once you figure it out, it's pretty easy, huh? Kind of.
Yeah. Okay.
But you got to get used to the feeling of pulling out thread too at the same time.
Gotta get used to the pull out.
Yeah. Part of the thing that I will say, just to show you, is when it comes to vices, is that as you can see, if you decide that you really like to tie flies, or you're probably gonna get into it, for sure it's good to upgrade to a pedestal for this reason too. Okay. Because you may not have a table that's like good enough to hold it or the right shape of the lip of the side of it. I don't know what you call the side of the table. I have no idea. Okay. But it makes it so that it doesn't quite ever work well, right? Yeah. And then it just makes it more frustrating.
Totally.
All right. So once you think that you've got it pretty well covered, you can pull out more thread. So pull your bobbin back a little bit. There you go. Now, so wrap back and stop at the point. So it's like even with the point of the hook. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's good. You can also use a book. That's totally true. I'm so ADD that I love when people comment. so I could read things. But it looks, Erica, if it looks like I'm just staring at your face all creepy like, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, I'm so focused right now. So I don't even know that people are even here.
Okay, perfect.
Is this what you mean, like that thing?
Yes,
like,
that.
Okay.
And you could tighten the base on the bottom. There should be some knobs at the bottom of it that keep that. What? Yes, that's the one that just dropped it.
Okay.
So you can tighten that so that it won't do that.
Oh, yeah.
See?
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
This is the game changer here.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. Can you still see?
Yes.
Okay.
And I just found out that Rio's in the house now, so I'm going to be on my best behavior. Just so.
Okay, I'll try. I'll try too.
At least for the next couple of minutes.
All right.
All right, you ready? I can't see any of what you're doing right now. I don't know if you could put the phone down a little. Oh, perfect. A little bit more perfect. Closer. There, that's
I almost thought about wearing like a low-cut shirt. Sorry, anyway.
Nobody cares what your flies look like if you're wearing a shirt like that. So you're totally fine.
Okay. Okay. I'm at the base of the shaft.
Here we go. So next, what we're going to do is take our marabou. Okay? This is the fluffy stuff that's on like boas and stuff. Okay?
Is it this stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so what you're going to want to do with this is pull off, there might be some sticky gross ends on the back, like these, that look like they didn't, this duck or goose didn't take good care of itself. Get rid of that crap.
Okay.
This is the stuff that ends up all over your house, by the way. Like I've gone into Safeway and had a big clump of this stuck to my butt. It's not fun.
Okay.
And it's like staticky. So pull off the crappy parts so it should just kind of look like that.
Okay.
Then when I do, I take this and I break the stem, right the tip off the stem. So it's like this. Okay. So this way you can still tie in the strong points of the feather by doing this, folding it and tying like that, as opposed to Gregory Franklin, Safeway is a grocery store. So it ends up with this nice, perfect little clump, as opposed to if you were to take it, hold on, I'll show you, and take a feather and just rip off one side, you end up with all different lengths and shapes, right? So if you do it this way and just pull out, rip off the tip of the feather, it ends up with this perfect tuft of tail for it. Okay?
Okay.
So now what you're going to do is you want it roughly the length of the hook shank.
Okay.
So I really don't care, and the fish don't give a crap. So you want to make sure that it's facing towards your vise.
Okay.
You got it. There you go. So take it and kind of put it together like that and pinch it with your right hand so that you know how long you want it to be. Okay?
Okay.
And then you want to tie it, switch hands and tie it in. So just do some wraps around it with your right hand while your left hand holds it in place.
Okay.
Marabou is perfect. That's exactly what we're using. Good job. And make sure you're tight when you're tying it down. Okay?
Okay.
You don't want to break your thread, but at the same time, you don't want it to be like spinning all around.
Okay. How many times?
As many as you think it needs before it's actually not moving at all.
Okay, yeah.
A good test is kind of to tug on it a little bit, and if it's not going anywhere, you're good to go. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave this in so it'll add a little bit of bulk as well. Okay. So I'm going to leave it in for a second here, and then I will end up tying it off. One trick you can do actually, if you want, is you could fold it over itself to kind of lock it and do a couple more wraps, or like 5 since I talked and did it at the same time. Okay, we'll do it this route just to show people how to lock a feather in place. Okay, so do some wraps there and then cut off that excess stem. Make sure if you have to close one eye to make sure you don't cut off all of it. That's also a good option because you don't want to cut off all your tail as well.
Okay, so I'm cutting this off.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, one thing I do is I always keep a cup of water or whatever you want near you that's clear liquid, and you can actually take it and wet that marabou down.
Okay.
It makes it so it doesn't get caught in other stuff and get in your way.
Ah.
Yeah, look, bonus. So the next thing we've got is saddle hackle.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. So you either are going to find it still on the hide, or you're going to find it like you have strung, they're called. And this is usually rooster hackle. And you're going to just grab a piece out. Most of the rooster saddle hackle is pretty, the strung stuff is all just ready for marabou or ready for woolly buggers. So it doesn't really matter what size range it is. It's going to work well, okay? So what we're going to do now is you're going to tie this in at the tip of the feather like this. Okay, so you're going to grab the tip, the point, and tie it in. I usually take it and do that to it and part it a little bit.
Oh.
Hi, avid angler. You guys are my favorite. So go ahead and grab it at the tip there.
Oh, the tip. Got it.
Yeah, you got it. Perfect. So once you've got a little part there kind of going, tie that in so the point of the feather is going towards the point or the eye of the hook. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. So the point, the tip of the feather, so you want to turn yours around.
Oh.
There you go. So tie right where your finger is, your left hand, right where that little, nope, other way, keep backing it up, back it up even further. Keep going right there. That's where you want to tie it in. Okay, right now, you're going to have it all hang out the back end of your fly right now.
Okay.
Peter Knox, you did not miss the ribbing. Even though you know I hate it, it's still coming. So, so do some wraps around here.
Okay.
Just to get it all tied in so that this isn't going anywhere either if you kind of tug on it, okay? Now do a little bit, pull a little bit on your bobbin so you have a little bit more space. There you go. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so if you make sure you know that it's pretty good here and not going anywhere.
Okay.
Now you could take that tip of it, fold it back as well, and do a couple wraps and then cut that tip off.
This tip here?
Yeah, just to make sure that it's not going to come out.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to now talk for a second because I know you don't have it right now. So one half of this whole relationship is going to be using wire rib. For those of you that like counter ribbing, you also know me well enough probably to know how much I hate it. I personally would rather, I would rather my flies fall apart but catch a fish on them than counter rib. It's so annoying to me, but I'm doing it because this is an intro class kind of thing and I'm telling you to do as I show you, not as I say, okay?
Okay, wait, hold on. I see a question that I'm actually was curious about too. What happens if you break your thread?
So good call. You stop, take a breath, take a drink, don't touch anything. And then what you do is immediately thread your bobbin without touching anything. And then you immediately take your thread and start right over where you broke it, the area that's starting to come across. Okay.
Okay.
And you immediately just do some wraps as fast as you can, just to quick lock it in there.
Okay.
Cut off the excess thread and start there again.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Fish don't care, so I think we're okay.
Okay.
So now what I'm going to do is tie in this stupid piece of wire that actually saves flies and makes them more durable and all that good stuff, okay? So I'm going to do that. Since you don't have any wire, I envy you right now because you're not doing it. The other thing you could do at this step, if you wanted to, is add some lead-free wire. You could use lead too, but some places don't allow lead, so you might as well go with lead-free. I like 020 or 025. Just do some wraps along the shank of it. You're good to go. So Next, we're going to break out our chenille.
Ooh.
Yes. We could do crystal chenille, which would make it a beadhead crystal bugger. Or you could do some regular chenille and make it a woolly bugger. So why do I not like counter wrapping? Because I just am seriously, it pains me to do that extra step. It is why no two flies I have in my fly box are the same, because I sit there and I get bored so quickly that I don't want to. So it's super, super mature, probably not so much, but that's all right.
You know what you like.
Yeah.
There's not always one way to do things, right?
Exactly. The right way is to counter rivet. The wrong way is not to. I'm okay with this one, doing it wrong.
Okay.
So you have your chenille. Generally, medium chenille or small works best, but there's a big jump between the two in size, so medium is great. Obviously, it works better if you find the end of it and then cut it, as opposed to what I do, which is just cut it in the middle, because I'm too lazy to find the end in this thing.
Do I just cut like a couple strands? Is that what I should do?
No, you're going to need one strand, and it's going to be,
okay,
I don't know, like 4 inches long is still more than enough, but I went beyond that, so. And then once you've done that, you're going to take it and you're going to tie it in also on top of everything else you've just tied in right at the base. So we've got a lot of crap going on there.
Yeah.
Now you're going to wrap over that, so it looks nice and pretty. Does large chenille catch larger fish? I'm not even going to entertain that one.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so I'm starting from the base and going to the front.
Yes, and I would tie everything in so it's coming off the back. That was my fault. I didn't catch you doing that. So turn it around. There you go. Perfect.
Like this?
Yeah, so tie it in so that your left hand is holding it. It's sticking out the back. And tie it in that way. And that way it's not annoying you sticking out the front, right? Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Anglers catch fish, for sure. More so than large chenille. All right, so then once you've tied it in, then go ahead and make sure your thread is up at the point of your hook. Before you wrap the shank of the fly itself, make sure your thread got there first. So I just wrecked your day. You're going to want to unwrap all of that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There you go. So now make sure you wrap your thread to the front.
This thing. Oh,
yes, that thing. That's your thread.
Okay.
So wrap that to the front. Did you already tie in the chenille? I can't see it.
Oh, not yet.
So tie in your chenille. This is what we call a failure to communicate right here, folks.
It's okay. It's okay.
So tie that down.
Okay.
So that the chenille is attached.
What a beautiful name.
Yes. Did you get your thread to the front of the hook?
Oh, okay. I'm tying the chenille on.
Tie the chenille on with the thread so it's tied in. But don't wrap it yet. That's all you need to do. So did you tie it down so it's just hanging off?
Oh, I'm sorry. No. Okay.
Just do it like you did with the hackle, with the saddle hackle. That's where it is. Yes. You're going to be like the best tire in the world after this.
Okay.
Okay, so once you've tied that in, now bring your thread all the way up to the front.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Whee.
Perfect. Okay, so I think the fact that you're doing like a full recoil action makes it even better. I know people who tie that have to have their tongue like out while they're tying, and it's so awkward. I'm so glad I don't have that problem.
Thanks.
Okay. I may do other things, but it's not that. So now what you're going to do, now you get to wrap your chenille.
Ooh.
Yeah, you've been waiting for that.
Yes.
So now what you can do is just wrap up the body of the fly all the way to behind the hook. Now here's one thing I will tell you. Make sure that you give yourself enough room. So stop about 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 of an inch behind the eye of the hook or the eye of the fly, okay?
Okay.
Otherwise, you are going to crowd that eye.
Okay.
Which is not your fault. It's just something that everybody does.
Okay.
All right, so once you've gotten there, what I want you to do is hold on with your left hand.
Okay.
And wrap it, flip it around so that you tie down that piece of chenille. Okay, so make sure that your thread, take your thread and loop it around the chenille.
Okay.
So that you made sure that you've tied it down. All right, so is it good and in there? Make sure that chenille isn't going to come untied.
Sure. Yeah.
What you can do is take your right hand,
okay,
and pass the chenille to your left underneath the bobbin right now. So take it and do that. Yes. Now do a loop with your bobbin around with your right hand.
Oh.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
Now it's not going anywhere. There you go.
Okay. Okay. I like that.
Now you can cut it off. That excess of the chenille. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's not going anywhere now.
Okay.
Another thing that happens is that everybody cuts their thread every once in a while at the same time on accident. I've done it, and it's always like a large amount of swear words all at once. So you got to watch it with that too.
Okay.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it with our saddle hackle or our feather. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So what you're going to want to do is take your hackle. Okay. And you're going to want to take it and wrap all the way up the shank, giving space in between, like a 1/4 inch in between.
Okay.
Don't worry how it's folding or moving or anything. It will correct itself. Okay.
Okay.
And do it to right behind, as I'm going to do right behind the bead itself. And then once you get there to the, like behind the eye, give yourself space again.
Okay.
Take your right hand or your left hand and hold onto the stem.
Okay.
Take your left hand and take your bobbin and put it over that, like that. Okay?
Okay.
This is tying down that feather for you. Okay?
Okay.
And then it's not going to go anywhere, right?
Right. I hope
so then we'll find out. So now what you can do is go in and cut as close to the stem without actually cutting the thread. This is the harder part. Cut that stem off.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Now what you can do too is take your water cup.
Okay.
If you want, and wet it down.
Okay.
I'm not going to because I get to do wire now because everyone wants me to do wire.
Oh, this is beautiful. Okay.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. So you pause for a second here. And what I'm going to do is do some counter ribbing here. For those that are under the age of like 16, just beware. There may be some swearing going on here. So with counter ribbing, what you want to do is, first of all, make sure you've done enough actual wrapping with your thread so it's not going to come undone if you're turning this at the same time. I've done that. It's a really crappy move and it sucks. What you're going to want to do is wrap, obviously, counter to the same direction that you did your hackle. So you're going to sit there and do this. And you kind of got to wiggle it to make sure that it goes in between perfectly and parts all of those hackles without making it hold them down in weird position, okay? The main reason for counter ribbing is to take the stem and add protection to the actual feather so that if the feather were to get chomped on, that stem of the feather isn't going to unravel. Which the funny thing is that in all reality, if it unravels, all you have to do is pull that thing off and the fish still eat it. So it is what it is. But yes, technically you should counter rib all of your flies that have saddle hackle in them. It's just going to add longevity to the life of the fly. Okay, so now that I've counter ribbed the whole fly, what I'm going to do now is make sure I've tied down the wires. Take my wire cutters here. I'm going to cut this. Now, Erica, take a drink of your drink right now. You're going to need it. Okay. So what we're going to do now is you have a down eye hook, correct? Can you look at your hook and see if it faces down?
Yes.
Okay. So
I poked myself a few times, so yes, it's down.
Okay. So what we're going to do is there's two options to tying these off. I will show you one, and then I'll also show you the whip finisher.
Okay.
Somebody just asked, always counter with wire. I'm going to tell you again, I hate it. Yes, you should if you want to make it last longer, but it's not. I mean, it's just annoying because it's another step.
Okay.
All right. So what we can do is, it's harder to do with, let me see if I actually have, I may not even have the tool with this. So we're going to show you a whip finisher and say screw it on the other idea. This here is called a whip finisher. It's also known as a torture device to anyone who's taken an intro to fly tying class before. What you're going to do is, first and foremost, you're going to take this and hold it like so. Okay? All right. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take it and you're going to take your thread and pull it up towards you. Oh, you can counter with thread, sure, if you want to. It's just not as durable as wire. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to now to pull it down a little bit, and you're going to want to hook it with the top part of your whip finisher here. Okay, so it's hooked on there.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's the crappy part. You have to take your hands and manipulate them so that you can fold it down and wrap it around this little knob here. So it should look like this. And I can't see at all what's going on with you.
Okay, I got this thing going on.
All right, so what's happening is unhook your thread from that. There you go. That's better, I think.
Okay.
And make it so that this piece is sticking out that way to your left. So that's good. That's good. Okay, hook it on again. There you go. We're good. So now what I want you to do is take your left hand while holding this tight and put it right at the base of the shank of your hook. Okay?
Okay.
Now what you should be able to do is just take your hand. Don't worry, it's not going to come undone. Make sure that this isn't hooked on the second time. Make sure that there's only, okay, there you go. Perfect. So now take your right hand. It will automatically do it on its own and start wrapping around. So that's, and don't hold on to the, don't hold on to the brown part, the grass part on it while you're doing it, because that'll lock it in. Or don't hold on to the top of it here, or it will actually like make it so that it doesn't turn. Okay, so you've got it like this. Okay, good job. Take your left hand and bring it over here.
Uh-huh.
Now take your right hand and just let go to where you're only holding onto the brass part. Don't worry, it's not going anywhere. Don't worry. Now start doing a circle with the point of it exactly vertical at all times from the hook eye. So watch, it's always, there you go. Turn away from you and away from you. There you go, you're doing it. Okay, now stop for a second.
Down for what?
Yeah, now stop right there.
Okay.
Push down and push forward. So push it so it's vertical. Push down with your hand and let it slip off the back bump. So take your wrist and pull it up. Now pull with your left hand and it should pop off of that.
Oh.
Does it pop off?
No.
So that bump right here, is it hooked on there too good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a real great grip. Is it supposed to go?
Yeah, it'll go. So keep pushing down. There you go. Now pull with your left hand. You did it. Now you just unhook it.
Okay.
And that's
I
it.
need a breath. Hold on. You got me really nervous. Okay.
Did you breathe at all?
I'm gonna cry. Okay.
No.
Hold on. Sorry. Okay, I'm excited. All right. All right.
This is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, I think, really, when it comes to fly tying, is
Okay.
teaching whip finishing without being able to like physically say, let me put this in your hand and my hand and do this.
Okay. Is this supposed to go now?
Okay. Yes. So if you want to do it again, should we do it again? Do you think? You're like, hell no.
I'm gonna quit while I'm mad, but you
Okay, perfect. So for other people who are wanting to watch, I'm gonna do it one more time just to show, okay? So you hook up, wrap it around, so it creates like a little triangle here. And now you basically just take it, turn, and make sure that it's always vertical to the eye of the actual hook, okay? Then once you get to the bottom, push, pull, okay? And that's it.
Just like this.
Is done. So if you don't have a whip finisher, you can hand whip finish, okay?
Okay.
You can also do what's called, which is hard with a bead, but it's a half hitch. What you can do is basically take a tool, something like this. A lot of tools say that they're also a half hitch tool, but they're really just, it just has a big end on it. That's just, they're trying to get you to pay more money for it, okay? You could totally do it by hand, but if you want, you could do a half hitch, which is basically just looping it around itself, then taking it and putting it right against the eye, and it'll automatically go on. I'm not going to do it because I have a bead, and you need a bigger piece to actually do a half hitch. McDonald's straws, if they still give out straws in your state, wherever you are, that's great. I know Starbucks doesn't anymore. Yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. So does anyone else have any questions in addition to this?
Wait, so that's it?
That's literally it. You're done.
Like
You're like, this is all this buildup. This is nothing. It's, I mean, this is way better than like Brad Pitt on any given night or something. You're like, peace out. I'm going to go to sleep now. You were great. For a first timer, you were amazing.
Thank you.
We, just for everyone else to know, Confluence Collective is the one who actually sweet talked us into doing this. She's amazing. We love Bree. She's awesome.
Yes.
She is going to keep doing this with finding different people who've never tied a fly before and different people that are pros in the industry in tying, and put them all together and have them tie flies. So it's going to be pretty entertaining. This has been way too much fun for a Friday night. And I seriously think it'd be fun even if we weren't all crazy nutty for being in quarantine for God knows how long.
Okay.
So yes, I want to also say thanks to HMH for the Vice, and obviously for Bree for putting this on, Erica for being the dummy in the situation that isn't a dummy.
In more than one way.
Now, if there's any other ones that anyone wants to see, go ahead and send messages to Confluence Collective, because then she can say, okay, well, here you go, and blah, blah, blah. Okay? Anything else? Anyone else? Or anything you want to say, Erica?
Just thank you to the person that sent me this spice. It was an awesome follower. I started at Chili Dog Enterprises, so thank you. And then, yeah, Confluence.collective. Thank you, Bree. You're awesome.
Perfect.
So,
Awesome.
This was a lot of fun.
It was super fun. Thank you all so much. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.